Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Soup Breakdown. Today we'll be looking at the GAT-X370 Raider Gundam, piloted by Clotho Buer. The Raider's a really interesting suit. I think that it's really good for like 2v2s or 3v3s. I don't think it's very good for 1v1s. It has some really interesting problems. You may not have been able to tell there, but the forward melee, only a 2-hit, does not go into any kind of combo, does not do a lot of damage, and it's very short. That's about it, just 120. The side melee is exactly the same. Very short. It gives you the full combo at least to do 170, which is not bad. Then you have your basic melee combo string. Pretty good, another 170. And then you have the back melee, which is probably the most unique thing the suit has. You're not ever really going to be able to do like insane amounts of damage with it or anything, but it functions as a shield and can block just about anything, which is really cool. I'm going to see if I can bait out some hits here. If they run into it, then they will take some damage. It's pretty nice. Very good for countering melee and range because of that. Because if somebody like boosts in on you and you have your spinning flail shield up, then you're good. I should preface this by saying that I'm very disappointed with the way that this suit plays. I love the Raider's design, and it just doesn't feel very good in this game. The burst is a nuke, which can hit you as well and can do quite a bit of damage, as you can see. The striker also uses the shield, so the striker is a great shield choice if you do not have any way of dodging beam attacks. The striker, however, cannot block Garobis, whereas Clotho's shield itself can, which is pretty nice, but will not block them forever. You have the basic chain gun shot, which is pretty decent. It does almost as much damage if you connect with everything as your basic melee. So honestly, like, it may be a better choice in a lot of situations. Then you have the ability to fire off the flail. Range is pretty short. If it hits, it does not stun, but it does do considerable damage, so it can be useful for that. And then of course you have, the right trigger, which is this charge. It looks like you should get hyper armor on this charge. You do not. You do not, in fact, get hyper armor on this charge. You will still take damage if you are hit while charging. And then finally, left bumper gives you beam shot, which reloads pretty quickly. It's pretty quick and gets in there to do some pretty decent damage, as you can see. And shield up. Oh, shielded too late. I think that for things like 2v2s, 3v3s, as we already said, the Raider is absolutely amazing for those. It's got some good options for backing up a teammate, and if you are not the main target, you can do some good stuff with it, especially with the shield. The question then becomes, should you use the Raider? Well, if you like melee suits that are really good right up on top of your opponent, close range, yeah, Raider's pretty good for that. The actual reach of its range is pretty bad, so you may have some difficulties there, but you do have some options to chase people down or to go at them as they run away. Most, like, real people opponents will try and dodge this attack if you send it after them, but normally you can get the AI in one of those. So that's not too bad. Thought he was going to try another beam attack there. That's why I called out the striker. For everything else, though, to be honest, I do not think that the Raider is really worth it. I think there are a lot of other suits that fulfill that same role. There again, showing you don't have hyper armor on that charge. I think there are a lot of other suits that fulfill the same role that do it better. I think the Raider has some cool stuff to it. See, there's the shield. And is, again, very good for supporting other suits. I think the Raider and the Forbidden together make a really devastating combo because they can block just about all incoming beam attacks. However, just on their own for 1v1s and things like that, I really don't think they're worth it. Especially if you want mid-range to long-range, the Raider has almost no options there. And with its melee being such short range on its own, you would normally use a forward melee to really get in there on somebody, but your forward melee's reach is pretty short. Right there. Your side melee is a good, like, I'm sidestepping around you and trying to get a hit in. And it just doesn't really connect very well because of how short the range is on it. Even though it does some nice damage for once you connect with it. The burst is amazing and is really, really solid, which we lost it there. hoping to dodge that and fire it off, because the nuke does quite a bit of damage, over 300, which for most suits is most of their HP, and can be used really well in tandem with other suits that have a nuke, like the GBO2, or other suits of that variety. But if you are playing 2v2s or 3v3s with the Raider, you need to be aware of where your teammate is when you fire the nuke, because it will hit them as well. And that is not good for team synergy, I would say. All in all, I think the Raider is actually not a very good suit in this game. I think it can be used to very good effect, and there are people that I have played with that are amazing as the Raider, but it just doesn't have the kind of kit that I look for, and I think that a lot of other players look for in this series. With all that said, though, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum, and remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that the Raider has to offer.